the second tone, we get the Chinese for hemp or linen. Let's hear our native speakers say the word hemp in Chinese.
麻
Ma. The tone rises from mid-level to high level. We say it as a 3-5 contour because it starts at mid-pitch level 3 and then rises to end at high-pitch level 5. We can also describe the second tone as a mid-rising tone. We show the second tone in pinyin by writing an acute accent on the syllable. In order to help you practice the second tone, try raising your eyebrows when you pronounce a syllable with the second tone. The third tone in Chinese is different from the other tones. It comes in two different forms, the full form and the partial form. Let's start with the full form. When pronounced with the third tone, the syllable ma means horse. Let's hear our native speakers say the word horse in Chinese using the full third tone.
马
Ma. The sound is long, with the pitch first going down and then up. In fact, it falls from mid-low level 2 to low level 1 and then changes direction, rising to mid-high level 4. We say the full third tone has a 2-1-4 contour. We can also describe the full third tone as a low-falling, then rising tone. Try saying the Chinese word for horse several times in succession using its full third tone. Since it is a long sound where the pitch changes direction from falling to rising, it is difficult to do so. In fact, the third tone isn't often pronounced in its full form in normal speech for this reason. It mainly occurs in its full form before a pause at the end of a phrase or sentence. Otherwise, it is generally pronounced in its partial form. Now, let's hear our native speakers say the word horse in Chinese using the more frequently used partial third tone.
马
Ma. This tone is shorter, where the pitch just falls from mid-low level 2 to low level 1. This is a 2-1 contour. This tone is much easier to pronounce, especially at normal talking speed. In fact, the third tone has this low falling contour whenever it is directly followed by another tone, as long as the following tone is not another third tone syllable. We will deal with that case in the next lesson. We show the third tone in pinyin by writing a caron on the syllable. In order to help you practice the full third tone, drop your chin onto your neck and then raise it again while pronouncing it. The partial third tone is easier. Just drop your chin to your neck while saying it. Let's look at the fourth tone. Using the same syllable ma, but adding the fourth tone, gives it the meaning to scold or to curse. Let's hear our native speakers say the word to scold in Chinese.
骂
Ma. The sound pitch goes from high level 5 all the way down to low level 1. This is a 5-1 contour, also characterized as a high falling tone. Please note that in a few situations where we have a Chinese word of 2 syllables and each has a fourth tone, then the first fourth tone is shortened slightly and its contour changes from 5-1 to 5-3. That is, it only falls to mid-pitch rather than all the way to low pitch. But other than the infrequent case where we find a word with 2 consecutive fourth tones, the fourth tone has the full 5-1 contour. We show the fourth tone in pinyin by writing a grave accent on the syllable. In order to help you practice the fourth tone, Try tapping your foot gently while pronouncing it. Finally, the last tone is the neutral tone. Strictly speaking, the neutral tone differs from the four regular tones of Mandarin Chinese that we have just listened to in that it does not have a full tone contour. Such syllables are also called toneless. It's a short sound which is pronounced softer than the syllable that is immediately in front of it in a phrase or sentence. However, syllables with a neutral tone, which are sometimes also called toneless syllables, do have pitch, which can be anywhere from low level to high level, depending on the tone of the preceding syllable in the sentence. But since the neutral tone is short, like a blip, it cannot be characterized as having a full tone contour. Often, words with a purely grammatical function in Chinese are pronounced with a neutral tone. Let's now listen to the neutral tone. The same syllable ma as before, but with a neutral tone, in Chinese, is used to make a sentence into a question. Let's hear our native speakers pronounce the neutral tone on the syllable ma.
Ma.
Ma. This word is called a question particle. We'll talk about particles in a later lesson. The neutral tone is short without a full tone contour and is pronounced more softly than words with full tones. Also, in pinyin, the syllable for a neutral tone is written without any accent mark. Note that each of these syllables with different tones and thus different meanings is also written with a different Chinese character. We will now show these Chinese characters in both their simplified and traditional forms, along with the native pronunciations. First we have mother, written as M-A, macron in pinyin.
Ma.
That was a first tone, which is a high flat tone with a 5-5 contour. Next we have hemp, written as M-A, acute accent in pinyin.
Ma.
That was a second tone, which is a mid-rising tone with a 3-5 contour. Next we have horse, written as M-A, caron in pinyin. Let's hear that first as a full third tone, which is a low falling, then rising tone with a 2-1-4 contour.
Ma.
Now let's hear it as a partial third tone, which is a low falling tone with a 2-1 contour.
Ma.
Next we have to scold, written as M-A, grave accent in pinyin.
Ma.
That was a fourth tone, which is a high falling tone with a 5-1 contour. Finally, we have the question particle, written as M-A, no accent in pinyin.
Ma.
The neutral tone has no contour, but has pitch level 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, depending on what tone precedes it. We'll see examples of this in later lessons. It is also worth pointing out that in addition to tones, Chinese puts stress and intonation on words. These do not remove the tones, they simply add to them. We've now covered the tones of Chinese in some detail. It may all seem very technical and academic to you at this point, but after you've gone through this course and heard many examples of spoken Chinese, it will seem a lot easier to you. Before we finish this lesson, let's summarize the words we have covered. The word for mother is
Ma.
ma. The word for hemp is
Ma.
ma. The word for horse is
Ma.
ma. The verb for to scold is
Ma.
ma. And the question marker in Chinese is
吗
ma. That's all for this lesson. Thank you and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.